look at facing a quilt. Art quilts and modern quilts like this one, for example, would look all wrong with traditional binding on it. So we need to put a facing on it, which gives just a nice, straight, clean edge. Look at the back of it. So let's talk about that. Here's a little piece that I need to finish. So let me show you the steps in facing a quilt. We do it two sides, top and bottom, and then side side, or side side, top bottom. It doesn't mean, but two opposites to begin with. I usually cut my facing piece about 2 inches wide. Not that important. Could be 2.5. It could. It's about that wide, about 2 inches. I sew it down edge to edge. This is trimmed right out to the binding and the quilt, and I sew it down with a 1/4 inch stitch, the way I would put a normal border on that. But now what I do is I'm going to come to the machine and I am going to top stitch right here. Again, I sewed, I'm pressing, and I'm going to top stitch right here because that's going to hold it down very firmly. So let me just do that quickly so that I can show you the next step. It just doesn't matter. So I think you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to come down the entire strip with a little top stitching. Okay, now let's come back. And what I need to do now is come to the iron. Laura, can you follow me to the iron? Good. All right, I have top stitched this, and now I'm going to turn this to the back, but I want to turn it a little bit beyond the edge of the quilt. If I turn it right where the facing meets the quilt, I'm going to see the edges of both the front and the back, and I don't care for that. I would like it to be pressed a little bit further back so that you don't see anything from the front but quilt, no backing. So I will give this now a very good, solid, use a little steam if it helps. And you can see, you can see that I have pressed this down with a little bit of the edge showing. And then let's come back to the table here, and what I do now is when this is all pressed down and I can see just a smidge of the front, I'm going to turn this under just like that, and I am going to hand hem it down. So when I've done this entire side, it's going to look exactly like that. Okay, top stitched, press so that I see just a little bit of the front. I know that I will not be seeing my back from the front side of the quilt. Okay, so I have done that on one side and I've done it on the opposite side. Once I've done, and this has to be done by hand. I haven't figured out a way to do that by machine yet. Hand stitch, both of these done. Now I'm going to come and put the next two pieces on, and this is a little trick that I figured out. This is not sewed down, but you'll be able to get the idea. I am going to put my next piece of facing about 1 inch bigger on each side, just like this. And take this, I'm going to start stitching here, and I'm going to take this and I am going to wrap it. I'm going to wrap it around. And when I come to the other side, I'm going to wrap it around again, just like that. Okay? And what that does is, that gives me, when I turn it, I will be able, let me put a pin in it and I can show you so we don't have to bother with the stitching. Again, 1/4 inch in, but I have flipped this over so that when I turn it, I have a finished edge here, no raw edges. And then I turn that to the back with some good vigorous pressing, and there is my facing. I turn this in just a little bit to get it away from the edge, And you can see now that my facing is completely on. Again, turn this under, hand stitch it down, and it's going to look exactly like this. That's what your back should look like. A little bit of the front leaking out and nothing showing on the front but quilt. Very neat, very clean way, very clean way. Again, it's this little wrapping around before I sew it on that makes the difference. Very, very easy to do. That's it for facing.